going to take me straight off this mountainside. For my next adventure, I'd head to Lone Pine and the unique Alabama hills, which due to its picturesque landscape, is a place that's famous for the filming of many Western films and TV shows. So looking for a weekend of trails and getting away from the city, I picked up my freshly prepared Ducati Scrambler from Canyon Motorcycles, complete with new tyres, brakes and oil. Then I packed my bags with my camping and fishing gear, picked up a one-day fishing licence and a few supplies on my way through Lone Pine, and then I headed off to enjoy this unique terrain. This is an eye-catching and stunning area for sure, and just a short ride out of town, past the Face, and at the junction of Movie Road and Whitney Portal, you can turn off and instantly hit the dirt. And then you're just suddenly riding amongst the rounded rocks and the eroded hills of the Alabamas. And it's an amazing range of rock formations that have taken over 1,000 years of wind, sand and snow to develop in what we see today. And it's quite a contrast from those crisp, sharp and jagged ridges of the Sierra Nevadas to the west. Riding these dusty trails gives you a great sense of freedom, and it's the perfect place to just ride around and explore amongst the boulders. There aren't many shops around here, but thankfully there are freshwater streams, so today I'll be catching my dinner. It was a gorgeous afternoon to be out on the river, and in no time I was reeling one in. But now I had to get hold of it and then get the hook out. Easier said than done. It was definitely easier to catch one than unhook it, and my first catch got away. And then, so did my second catch. These fish are literally jumping on my hook and I still can't catch one. I've just caught myself now. After being a fumbling mess, I finally got hold of the third fish. And this one definitely wasn't going to get away. we've got some dinner. Time now to gut it, clean it out, and get it ready for cooking on the campfire later. Now let's get back on the Scrambler and go and find a place to camp. This looks like a great place between the rocks. Here, I get set up for the night, then build a campfire. Dinner, I just add a little lemon to my freshly caught rainbow trout. And also with some corn on the cob, I cook it to perfection over those hot coals. This evening would be simple. First, I'd enjoy dinner. And then I put my feet up and gaze up at the stars, as this area is known for its exceptional skies due to the low level of light pollution, and galaxies can be seen with the naked eye. Oh yes, I'll sleep well tonight.
Good morning.
Breakfast.
Last night was fish, today bacon and egg.
After breakfast, it was then back on the Scrambler for another day of riding these fun trails and exploring more around this beautiful area. But today, I wouldn't be riding alone, as now I'd head over to meet up with a local dual sport rider, who also just happens to be an ex-professional solo big wall climber, and is now a record-breaking paragliding pilot.
Hey man,
Welcome.
hey, thank you.
We've got planned today then.
We're gonna go for a nice ride on some cool single tracks and then take our bikes up to launch and paraglide.
Let's get to it.
All right, let's go.
Now Dave knows this area like the back of his hand, so today he's going to show me around some of his favourite places, starting off with some fun single track. Turning off the main trail, we would now ride up into the hills, navigating some rocks, potholes and some tight turns, as this single track took us further into the wilderness. Most of the time my machine could handle the terrain, but the ground clearance of the Icon was sometimes a factor. It's definitely a good job I've got a strong sun guard. But this trail was amazing, and the backdrop just spectacular, and it felt like few motorcyclists had made it out here. After the steady climb up, we'd then have to come back down, and the way down would not be as steady. Having done it many times, Dave showed me his preferred line, and then it was off. And once you start, there's no stopping. After seeing what can happen once you get moving, I was certainly more cautious on my descent. But we both made it down safely, and then it was onward, continuing on these awesome trails, over streams and through them, as we now made our way to a large set of boulders. Now Dave lived in Yosemite for 10 years as a rock climbing guide and videographer, having climbed the immense and largest granite monolith in the world, El Capitan, an amazing 45 times, and 14 of those were solo. So when he spotted this rock, he just couldn't help himself, and soon we were gearing up, and then I was looking up at this big boulder. Here we are at the foot of a big rock. Dave doesn't think it's very big. I do. It's steep, but this man is a professional climber, so we're gonna climb this thing.
Let's do it.
And like a true pro, Dave made light work of it, clipping in gear and climbing to the summit in no time. Very impressive. And once Dave got down, it was then my turn. Now, although I have a harness and a rope, the idea is to try and get up unaided, and hopefully without too many mistakes. Dave helped guide me to which hand and footholds I should use, and soon I was on my way. Wow, what a feeling and what a view. After a rather intense climb up, I then enjoyed the trip back down.
Wow!
That was a fun little stop. And now we jump back on our machines and head towards the paragliding launch point. So this is where things get really interesting, because Dave here is going to take me straight off this mountainside.
So with any luck, we'll launch from here.
Yeah.
Thermal up, fly up over the mountains for an hour or two, and then come back and land right here again.
Right.
So if we land at the bottom, that's fine. We usually hike back up.
Right, well.
That little gust of wind is good.
It was an incredible experience just running off the edge of a mountain and then taking off into the air like a bird. What an amazing feeling, and definitely one of freedom. And the views from up here are just spectacular. Unfortunately, due to the strong winds blowing apart the warm thermals, we couldn't get much lift. So we slowly meandered down, and then landed perfectly on our feet. Oh wow, what a ride!
Nice job.
Yeah! Good job, buddy. Yeah. Back on our machines, and we now headed further down the hillside as we went to check out another town, and one that is now an historical landmark. Now, the rather striking and unusual town name of Laws was actually named after and in honour of R.J. Laws, a railroad official. And after the first train arrived in 1883 and the railroad buildings erected, the town grew and prospered. But with the decline of the railroad and then local mines closing, the railroad finally ceased operation in 1959, and then the Laws town just dwindled away. But thankfully, a local historical society was formed in 1964, and the main railroad building, tracks and train was saved. Then other locally salvaged buildings and objects were collected and donated, so now you can step back in time and experience a physical connection to the past. The Laws Railroad Museum and Historical Society is a rather unique setting, and where you can see what life was like over 135 years ago. All the buildings here are authentic and have been relocated here from their original sites throughout the Owens Valley, and then are all filled with objects of antiquity. from a huge oil-fired steam-powered locomotive to old cars and auto repair shops. This place has many stores and tools that were used back in the day. It was just great looking around, sitting on machines, and then even dressing up and owning your own bar. The Lord's Railroad Museum allowed you to turn back the clock and gives you a chance to experience life of the early homemakers and pioneers. After being transported into the past, we then jumped back on our bikes and accelerated into the future, as now Dave and I headed back into Lone Pine for a feed. Sat amongst movie history and lots of John Wayne memorabilia, the Mount Whitney restaurant is famous for its special double patted Mount Whitney burger. So there's only one choice, a big, juicy double cheeseburger. Oh yes. It had been a great couple of days riding, exploring and creating more moto memories. And as Dave and I now parted ways, I just couldn't help but take one last trail as the sun slowly fell from the sky. But as this adventure comes to an end, I'm already dreaming about the next one, as I just can't wait to get back out there on my machine and explore more roads and trails. So go do the same. Pick a place of interest, then gear up and just go for a ride.
Oh my god, it's a playground here, man. That again.
So could I interest you in some whiskey, maybe a shot? Come on, you know you want some.